9th of December, Parsha Shavua with Rashi, Rabbi Mor Vayigash. Hello, Rabbi. How are you?
Baruch Hashem. Yechiel here?
Yep. Yechiel, you're muted.
I don't see him either, actually.
Well, he's
Okay.
here. He's got his system turned off, but he can hear us.
Okay. We are up to I didn't have a yet to answer to my question. My Rashi says over here, Eretz Yisrael Gevurah Mikol Ha'aratzos.
Right.
Rashi does say it elsewhere. I'm just trying to remember. In fact, maybe I'll do a quick search. Oh, no, I'll leave it. I'll do it now. Let's continue.
Okay, where are we?
Pasuk Tes, we did. Okay, Pasuk Yud.
All right. Vayashavta be'eretz.
Vayashavta, not Va. It makes amazing. It's interesting that always the Vav at the beginning of the word, it's very crucial when you pronounce it with a patach or with a shva. With a shva, it means it's a Vav HaChibur, generally. Not always, but in particular with a future tense verb, like here. Vayashavta means you will. Yashavta is a future tense form. Vayashavta means you will dwell in the land of Goshen. Vayashavta means you dwelt in the land of Goshen. Okay, the va, the pata, was a pata that makes it a vav conversive rather than just a vav conjunctive. Okay.
Conjunctive means that it's a connection to the previous sentence.
Yeah, generally a vav conjunctive means it's just a connection. Means come down to me, and you will dwell in the land of Goshen.
So you're putting the word "and" in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas how to say vayoshavto, it doesn't necessarily mean and. The vav is there to to tell you it's a conversive. It's interesting that the vav has a somewhat of a conjunctive use, even in such a case, but it's much more. It's merely indicating that it's merely indicating that this is the continuation of the narrative. And so Vayidaber Hashem and Moshe Lemor. That's the classic passage. It means Hashem spoke to Moshe saying. It says Vayidaber. Why doesn't it say Hashem diber or Moshe? Why does it say Vayidaber Hashem or Moshe? Why does the Torah write it that way? To tell you that this was a followed on. This was an action which followed on from the previous action mentioned. And in fact, it generally means present in the past. This is Vayidaber Hashem or Moshe Lemor means it's a present in the past. Means at that point where the Torah is narrating about that happened then. Whereas Hashem diber Moshe means Hashem had spoken to Moshe, which is like a pluperfect or past historic or whatever grammatical term you use for that. Okay?
I see. Okay. So the ha'isa karov elai, and you will be close to me. Ata uvanecha, uvane vanecha, you and your children and your grandchildren. Vitzonecha, uvekarcha, v'chol asher lach, your sheep and your cattle and all that is yours, or all that you own. Okay, there's no Rashi. V'chil kalti oscha sham ki od chamesh shanim ra'av pen tivaresh ata uvescha v'chol asher lach. So, and I will provide for you there, since there are another 5 years of famine, lest you become impoverished.
Right. This is what Rashi is going to explain. By the way, pen always, I prefer to translate it in the more spoken English, where it has the meaning of so that you do not become poor. That's what it means. Lest it transliterated into modern English means so that you do not. So that you do not become poor.
So you do not become poor. You and your household and all that is yours. Okay, Rashi, pen tivaresh, that not you will become impoverished. Dilma sis mas kain, perhaps, or maybe, you became impoverished.
You will become, actually.
You will become?
Yes.
Oh, you will become impoverished.
So what my point is, Rashi's finding out that the term tivoresh, yes, is translated by Onkelos as sismaskein, which means to become poor. And that's what Rashi adds, Loshen
Morish Shir. It's an expression
similar to the use of similar to how it's used in this passage, Moirish Umashi. This is the famous song of Hannah. Okay, she said Hashem is Moirish Umashi, which means Hashem makes poor and he makes rich. So you see the Lashon Rosh is a term of somebody who's poor, impoverished. He's used the term, I don't know where, I'm not sure it's a paraphrase from a pasuk, but you have the term V'larosh ein koil.
Aha. I see. He impoverishes and makes rich.
Right.
Ma'ashir is rich, like Ashir.
Correct.
And Rish is impoverished. Interesting. They're so similar.
It's interesting. I never thought of it, but the opposite. You've got the shin and the resh are
reversed,
turned round.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So that's 11. Now back up to 12.
Yeah.
V'hinei einechem ro'os.
Yes.
Ve'einei achi vin yamin ki fi hamedaber alechem. let's see. And behold, your eyes see it.
Why it?
Pardon?
Why it? B'hinei einechem ro'os.
What's the stuff
Behold,
doing on the end?
eyes see.
What's the tough doing on the end of the word?
Ro'os, it's a plural. B'hinei einechem ro'os.
Oh, so it's not see it, it's just see. Behold,
Behold,
your eyes
are seeing.
are
And
seeing,
eyes.
and the eyes of my brother Binyamin, that Pi hamidaber alechem. P is my mouth.
Yes.
Isn't P just mean mouth?
It can be. Normally you would say the word pair.
I see. Okay. That in other words, that I am speaking to you with my own mouth.
Well, directly without an interpreter.
Right. Or actually maybe there is another understanding. I was discussing this last night, and it was pointed out that the Egyptian people were dark-skinned, and Yosef was light-skinned. So he may be saying to them, you're seeing that it's the mouth of a light-skinned person that's talking to you.
Where do you see the fact he was light-skinned?
Well, that was the presumption. I don't see that it says that anywhere, but the presumption was that the Egyptians were dark-skinned because they were from
That is true, because they are descendants of Ham.
right, and that since Yosef is a descendant of Shem, that he would be light-skinned.
Yeah, that I understand, but where does he see that? That's the point in the pasuk over here. Kifi, Rashi's going to say, the reason means my mouth is talking directly to you in your language, meaning I'm speaking Lashon HaKodesh just like you do.
Right, but where do you see that?
Because he was speaking to them in Lashon
Because
HaKodesh.
what Rashi says it.
Right.
But where does Rashi get it from?
Because he was speaking to them directly.
But maybe that's not what it means.
Everybody get out.
Maybe it's
And
referring
he started speaking to them in Lashon HaKodesh, which he hadn't spoken to them with them till now.
I think your logic is circular.
What do you mean?
You're saying it means it because it means it.
No, I'm not. Yosef says, Yosef says, everybody should leave. And there was nobody else in the room, including any interpreters, when Yosef revealed himself to his brothers.
Right.
Okay, so now he's pointing out to them, he says, I'm speaking to you directly. Sure, he doesn't mention before otherwise, but obviously he was speaking to them without an interpreter.
Okay, I got you.
Right. By the way, this is a Parsha of the Beis Halevi, Yosef Ber Soloveitchik, who was the how should you say, the father of all the line of the Soloveitchik family. Anyway, he has an interesting thing. It says that in last week's Parsha, there's a whole, how should I say it, dialogue between Yosef and the brothers about whether they're Meraglim, they've come to see the thing, and they give answers. And what does Yosef answer back? Like he doesn't answer, as they say in Yiddish, he doesn't answer back to the Zach. It's not to the point. He's giving an answer, and they don't give a proper answer. So so he wants to say that the brothers blamed the interpreter. And that's why Yehuda came up to Yosef and he spoke to him directly. I don't know if he spoke to him in Egyptian or not, but he certainly spoke to him directly because he didn't want anything. And he said to him, listen, you've got to understand Lashon HaKodesh because otherwise you're not suitable to be a ruler. So he spoke to him in Lashon HaKodesh. That's what I understood. He spoke to him in Lashon HaKodesh. And obviously Yosef answered him in Lashon HaKodesh as well, if that was the case. Okay, I'm just pointing this out. It's not crucial to this understanding Pshat over here, but that's what Rashi says. Let's see Rashi.
You caused my mind to develop a question based on what you just said. I never thought of this before, but Yosef spoke 70 languages.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you expect that if Yosef spoke so many languages, that Yehuda also spoke all those languages?
In fact, they said the Mepharshim say they would do say that.
So why did they need an interpreter in the first place? Why don't the brothers just speak to him in Egyptian?
Oh, I don't know.
I never thought of this question before.
You're right. Why didn't the brothers speak Egyptian? I don't know.
Okay, anyway, back to Rashi. V'hinei einechem ro'os. Behold, your eyes see. Bichvodi v'she'ani achichem. Let's see. In my honor, that I am your brother. In my honor that I am your brother. Shani mahul michem.
Okay, so now let me point out what Rashi's on about over here. Okay, Yosef is mentioning L'chora 2 points. So, what does it mean? Your eyes see that my mouth is speaking to you. Now, the point is, you don't see that; you hear that. The fact that Yosef spoke in Lashon HaKodesh wasn't a point of seeing; it was a point of hearing. So, what is Yosef saying over here? So Rashi is pointing out that basically he's saying 2 things. Yosef is telling them 2 things. One, you eyes are seeing, and the eyes of my brother Binyamin. Pasuk doesn't elaborate on that, doesn't tell us exactly. And in addition, and besides that, you hear that my mouth is speaking to you directly, that I'm speaking to you in Lashon HaKodesh. So that's why Rashi is explaining the pasuk.
Okay, let's see how he actually words it. V'od ki pi hamedaber alechem, and further that my mouth speaks to you, the Lashon HaKodesh in Hebrew. Ve'enei achi Binyamin, and the eyes of my brother Binyamin. Hishva es kulam yachad lomar. Hishva es kulam. He mentions all of them. Yachad, together, to imply or to say shekishem she'ein li belibi sin'ah al binyamin achi, that just as there is not in me, in my heart, hatred for my brother Benjamin, sheharei lo haya bimchirasi, that behold, I was not sold.
No, he was not.
Oh, that he did not participate in the sale?
In my sale.
He was not there when I was sold. Okay, got it.
Therefore, I have no bad feelings towards him.
Kach ein belibi sin'ah alechem. So too, there is not in my heart hatred for you. Just as I don't hate him, I don't hate you.
Right.
Okay,
now
that's
we're going to
it.
see, by the way, that it's very interesting that how Yosef behaves towards his brothers. That we see there was a constant, even till Yosef's dying day, the brothers were never sure that Yosef had fully forgiven them.
Right. Right, which seems odd because so many years he was doing everything good for them.
Right.
It seems
so
like
one of the Parsha says that one of the points is, which mentioned later on in the end of Vayigash, next week's Parsha, is that after Yaakov Avinu died, Yosef, he still provided for his brothers, but they didn't eat together. Till then, all the brothers, the father and all the brothers would eat their meals together.
With Yosef.
And after Yaakov Avinu died, that practice ceased. And there's a reason why Yosef had a cheshbon why to do so, but the brothers construed that Yosef still had bore some enmity towards them.
What was his reason?
So see over here. I have a note in here. Yeah, it's Rashi actually on chapter Nun 50, chapter 50, pasuk 15.
Wow, that's pretty far ahead. 50.
This is the thing. After Yaakov dies, I read the pasuk Tesvav. Vayiru acha Yosef kimei sabiyah. The brothers of Yosef saw that their father had died. Now Rashi's going to dwell on that. Vayomru, and they said, Lu yistameinu Yosef. Maybe Yosef will bear us hatred. And he's going to repay us the evil that we did with him, that we dealt him. Okay?
Yeah.
So Rashi says over there, what does it mean the brothers saw that Yaakov had died? That's pretty obvious, They've gone to his funeral. And what does it mean the brothers saw? So Rashi says over there, in Pasuk Tezvav, what is the meaning? I read it here. Ma'u vayiru, hikiru b'misosei eitzel Yosef. They noticed the death of Yaakov made a difference in Yosef's behavior. Shayurgilim lised al shulchana shel Yosef. they had, when their father was alive, they had been used to taking their meals on with Yosef, or Makarvan, and he was friendly to them, Bishvil Kvodav, on account of the honor of his father. But once Yaakov died, Lo Kervan, he no longer showed this friendship towards them, right? Lo Kervan. So they bring down the Mefarshim on Rashi, quote from the, have a note over here, Bereshit Rabbah, I'll read it out. Sifsei Chachamim, quoting Bereshit Rabbah 108, the name of Rabbi Tanchuma, says that Yosef acted this way out of pure motives. While his father was alive, his father made sure that Yosef sat at the table in a more prominent position than Yehuda, who was a king, and Reuben, who was the firstborn. Now, however, Yosef did not consider that the correct thing to do. But on the other hand, he could not allow himself to sit in a less prominent place than they because of his royal position. He therefore no longer ate together with them. Because he didn't want, it was like a catch-22 situation now. On the one hand, as long as his father was alive, he didn't mind sitting at the top because this is what his father that was the honor of his father. This is what his father wanted. But once father died, so who's going to make the seating arrangements now? So if Yosef now decides to sit at the top of the table, it's like showing disrespect to his brothers Yehuda and Reuven. So therefore, he said, well, just let's stop doing this practice. This way I avoid that issue.
That does not seem very bright to me. I mean, isn't it?
Well, how else would you serve and solve that situation?
I would say, look, if I stop eating with them, that's going to have a very negative impact. If I continue eating with them and I stay in the seating arrangement that my father established, I can just say this is the precedent. I'm just continuing. It's going to be much
so
less.
Obviously, the situation. I understand, Jasvara, but obviously the situation was not so. That it wasn't.
But we see the negative effect that it had. It doesn't seem like he dealt with it properly. Maybe he could have, instituted the round table.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, should we continue?
Yes, please.
Okay. I think we're up to 13. V'higadetem la'avi es kol kevodi b'mitzrayim v'es kol asher re'isem u'mihartem v'horadtem es avi heina. So he said, he'd tell my father about all of the honor, all of my honor in Egypt, and all that you saw, and hurry and bring down, and you should bring down my father here.
Heina, to here.
Heina, to here. To here.
Well, whatever, it could be an English thing. I'm just taking it more literally, maybe colloquially, or better way of expression, just saying here. Bring him here.
Right.
I like to say the two. Okay, but I'm just, Heina means it's like hey at the end. It's like a lamed at the beginning. That's what I'm pointing out.
Like
Hey,
Lahain?
no, the lahei or
Lahain. And Hain means here?
yes, in
Okay.
this sense.
I
Yeah,
think there's no Rashi on that.
correct. Let's go on to Yudalet.
Vayipol al Tzavure.
Savare.
Tzavure.
No, it's not an u. It's just a vav.
Oh, Tzavre?
Savare. It's a vav. It's like
Savare.
saying the vav, pronouncing it fully, but not. It's not indicative of a shuruk sound, but it's a vav. It's like a regular vav consonant with a shva underneath. That means va. Savare.
Tzavre. But what is the meaning of the dot in the middle of the vav?
That's a dogesh. Means technically there should be two vavs there.
So it's like
Tzavre.
Tzavre.
Yeah, but since it's since it's difficult to pronounce that way, so the
Right.
vowels are combined into one vav with a dogesh, which means that the vav, single vav, is strongly pronounced. Tzavare.
Tzavre. Tzavre. Vinyamin achiv.
Vayef.
Vayef. Is it a cha or a ka?
Ka. It's a ka.
Vayef u Vinyamin bacha al tzavarav. Okay, and he fell on the neck of Binyamin, his brother, and wept. And Binyamin wept on his neck.
Right.
Okay. 14, Rashi. Vayipol al Tzavre Vinyamin achiv Vayef. He fell on his brother Benjamin's neck and wept. Al Shnei Mikdashos, about the two temples. She'asidin lios bechelko shel Binyamin, that in the future they would be in the portion of Binyamin, V'sofan le charev, and in the end they would be destroyed.
Okay.
So they had a prophecy. They both knew that this was going to happen.
I guess so. Well, listen. Let's go. Let's do the next Rashi.
Uvinyamin bacha al tzavarav. Tzavarav. And Binyamin wept upon his neck. Al mishkan Shiloh. For the tabernacle of Shiloh. She'asid lios bechelko shel Yosef. And it was destined to be in the portion of Yosef. The sofo le charev. And in the end it would be destroyed. So when it says the portion of Yosef, it's talking about the portion of Manasseh.
It actually was in the portion of Ephraim, I believe.
Ephraim. Okay. Interesting. All right. So more prophecy. They basically had prophetic visions that they saw all this destruction happening.
Okay. Now, one of the major things which the Parsha discuss over here is where Rashi says with Yosef, when Yosef wept on Binyamin's neck, it says that's for the two temples. There are going to be two temples, the first temple and the second temple, which will be in the territory of Binyamin. Those two are going to be destroyed. That's what Yosef wept about. And
Right.
Binyamin wept on Yosef's neck on account of Mishkan Shiloh, just one thing. Okay,
Right.
so there's a big discussion in the Mefarshim. Where does Rashi get it from that Yosef's weeping was for two things, and for Binyamin's weeping was only for one thing? Okay, so the number of answers. Pashtus is, I would say, the most straightforward explanation is that with regard to Yosef, in respect to Binyamin, it uses two expressions. Vayipoil al tzavre Binyamin ochid vayef. He fell upon Yosef, Binyamin's neck and cried and wept. Whereas regarding Binyamin, vis-a-vis Yosef, it only says Binyamin wept on the neck of Yosef. It doesn't say he fell upon his neck and wept. So that would indicate there was only one cause for mourning or cause for grief.
The word tzavarav, is that singular?
Well, it's plural. But by both of them, actually, it's plural.
They're both
It says,
plural.
"Vayipol al tzavare Binyamin ochid," on the necks of Binyamin, his brother, and Binyamin wept on his necks. So the question is, what's the double expression? Why is the plural form used here?
I asked that because I have a footnote here.
Oh,
That
that's
says
why I'm going.
the
Yeah,
neck is symbolic of the temple based
Correct.
on Shir Hashirim. Shir Hashirim Rabbah 4:11.
yeah, because the pasuk says there, it's called Savorecho. I forgot the exact Lashon over here. And I think I have quoted it over here. I don't have a note here, Bichlal. I do, where is it? I do, I'm sorry here. Yeah. It says, Savorecho kamigdal Hashem. That's the pasuk there. Your neck referring to the sanctuary and the altar, which are both tall and upright. There's much discussion. I'm going to read out my notes over here. There's much discussion in the commentaries if the indication of two temples is from the plural form, Savare Binyamin. If this is so, this would imply that Savarov at the end of the verse is a singular term, since it refers to only one dwelling, even though it's heavenly also plural form. This is a question discussed by the Mizrach and Guari. However, Havanas HaMikra, just that grammatically it's Savare, where the Vav has a Shva, is a dual plural form, whereas Savarov, where the Vav has a Kamatz, is a plural form with a singular meaning, as in Ba'alav Adonov. Okay.
I don't get it. A plural form with
Okay,
a
whatever.
singular-
It's not complicated, but it's a little bit involved grammatical point. I'm not going to go into it now. So what I pointed to you before was Havana Samikra, which is Wolf Heidenheim. He suggests, not Wolf Heidenheim, Nachlas Yaakov. Yeah, it's from the term that used the double expression. We have a note over here. Let's have a very long note here. Yeah. Yeah, he says the author, the expression he says some editions of Rashi, I'll read it out to you. Some editions of Rashi add a note here. It seems to me that Rashi infers this as follows. With Yosef, two expressions are written. He fell and he wept, implying two things. On the other hand, if of Binyamin is only written and Binyamin wept, one act, because his one act leads to only one destruction. Since also the commentary of Targum Yonason, which gives the same explanation in a more interpretive manner. The author of this explanation is unknown. Okay, there's a note in some editions of Rashi. There's a note to that effect. Okay, we'll have to stop here. Okay, we're up to
All right. Shabbat shalom.
We did pretty well this week. Okay.
Yeah, we did. Shabbat shalom. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good Shabbos. Good Shabbos, Yechiel. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you. Do you want me to call you? I'll call you soon. I'll call you on the phone. Okay?
You're muted, Yechiel.
Okay.
We can't hear you. You're muted. He's going to call you.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.